You may be skinny, and the number on the scale may excite you, and the number on the scale may turn you on, and the number on the scale may give you an orgasm because you lost 20 pounds. Hey everyone, welcome. It's Miami Life and Fitness. In today's video, we're going to be talking about bodybuilding. What is bodybuilding? Stay tuned. All right, if you need to get in contact with me for coaching, consultation, training, or food, email me at miamilifeandfitness@gmail.com or go to my website to book your consultation. It's super easy and my hours are very flexible at www.miamilifeandfitness.com. Also catch me on Instagram. I'm at MiamiLifeFitness. And again, once you hit more, all my information is there as well as my prices and services because it's not a mystery. And again, thank you to all of you that have been giving me the super thanks. I love you all. Thank you to all my fans. And also, we got to thank the haters, guys. Let's take a moment to bow our heads and thank the haters, because without the haters, we don't get anywhere. We want people to hate us. I want people to hate me, because that's when you know you're doing something good. So we love you haters. Love you too. You're going to get lots of love from me. Guys, so what exactly is bodybuilding? Bodybuilding is a sport that requires physical exercise and strenuous exercise in order to enlarge and strengthen the muscle, also known as hypertrophy. That's why it's called bodybuilding, because you are building the muscle. And if you're not building the muscle and you are not growing the muscle and basically increasing muscle mass, then you're decreasing. You're either growing or you're not. You're either building muscle or you're losing muscle. It's one or the other. So the reason why I want to make this video is because I was actually talking about this with my boyfriend yesterday, and it was when I was competing in bikini. So these are the things that happen in the bikini category. I do love the bikini category. I really do. I love that type of physique. I love the body, and I just love the way a woman's body looks in the bikini category. What happens is when you start competing, and for the women, and even the men that do 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shows a year, when you're getting towards a show and you're doing the cut, and then you have the days before the show, you know, when you're shredding down and cutting and all that, you know, the water, the sodium, the diuretics, and then the next 2 weeks you start eating a little bit and then get prepared for, let's say, another 30 days, another show. Then you start the cut again, and then the 7 to 14 days for the show where you're very stressed, again, the diuretics. What happens is your body is going through a shock, and it's really going through a period where it's just completely messed up. It doesn't feel good. The body's mad at you. The body's going through a lot of stress, and you're actually losing muscle, especially in the bikini category, if you don't do it right. And the reason why is because when you're in that cut, in the bikini category, most of the women are not eating a lot of food. You're going into severe calorie deficit. You know, you're knocking down, 500, 800, 1,000 calories over what you normally eat when you're building, in the season when you're building, which is off season, but it's really on because you're building. But you basically just shrink and you lose muscle if you don't do it right. When you're in a calorie deficit and you're doing all this cardio, and it really does take a toll on the body, and the body's really stressed out. And the reason for this video today is because this is what happens to me. So what happens is I shrunk down 10 pounds to get on stage, sometimes 12 pounds, basically just starving myself with the chicken and broccoli, fish and broccoli, egg whites and broccoli, not just broccoli, I mean just vegetables, the mushrooms, green beans, broccoli, asparagus. And when you don't have carbohydrates, the body's not able to basically transport the rest of the food to wherever it goes, because the carbs help to move the food through the digestive tract. And if somebody's just having a lot of protein, especially a lot of vegetables, which make you gassy and bloated, especially broccoli, then it just kind of sits in your stomach and you kind of look bloated. And the thing is, when you're on this calorie deficit, you actually are losing muscle. When you're in the cut and you're cutting those last 30 days, or even the last 60 days, and you're in a calorie deficit, you're reducing calories, you're doing a lot more cardio, your body's under a lot of stress, and your cortisol is going to go up, and you may start to lose muscle. Sure, you'll lose a little bit of fat, excess water, whatever you have left if you're doing it right. And then of course you're gonna lose a little bit of muscle. Unless you're taking anabolics, and certain anabolics that are going to help you retain the muscle mass and help you retain as much muscle as you can. For instance, Clen is a perfect example of does this, because Clen is very anabolic. So when it's combined with other anabolics, such as, let's say, Anavara Primo, it allows you to hold on to the muscle. For the women that are in the bikini category, again, I love this category, but you have to make sure that you're doing it correctly and that you're eating as much as you can, but eating the right foods and not just fats, and not just, I don't want to hear, oh, I eat clean, I eat protein and vegetables. That's not clean. That's actually undernourished. You are undernourished, you are malnourished, and you're not feeding your body the necessities and the nutrients that it needs, and those are your carbohydrates. I'm not talking about donuts or cereal or cookies and pancakes and waffles and all this other shit. I'm talking about real complex carbohydrates that are gonna help you fill the muscle and help you grow the muscle while it's under repair and while it's recovering, which is gonna be rice cakes, cream of wheat, cream of rice, oatmeal, a little bit of pasta every now and then, potatoes, sweet potatoes. I really love sweet potatoes because it's a whole different type of root, it's a whole different type of family, and it's kind of just sits in on its own, it's a root. But these are things that you have to keep in mind, because during all those years that I was competing in the bikini category, it's like I would advance and I would regress, and then I would advance and then I would regress, and I would advance and I would regress. And why? Because you're gaining muscle, and then when you start going through a cut, when you're getting ready to compete, you lose muscle, and so you shrink down, and then sometimes you even look flat. It's happened to me. It's happened to me where you look flat, you lose your butt, you lose your legs. It's something that if you're not doing it right, and you can kind of tell, and hopefully your coach can see that it's not going in the direction that you want it to go, then you need to add more food. You need to add more carbohydrates to sustain the muscle and to sustain your energy level. And I don't mean add tons of carbs, but just a little bit of carbs. You can't just go carbless. It's very difficult and even dangerous to do the whole carb cycling and carbless when you are carb depleting, especially when you are very, very, very low body fat, because that is when you are completely running on fumes and a whole loss of energy. And this is something that we were talking about the other day, whereas when I got into the figure category and you're actually eating, you're actually retaining muscle, you're gaining more muscle and you're retaining muscle, so you can just eat all the way through the contest and all the way through the prep. But the main thing is, every time I was competing, I was losing. So it was almost like when I started at the gym again, it was almost like starting from zero. And yeah, I had a lot of muscle and it came back, but it was like I regressed. So instead of progressing, I was regressing. So you really have to know how to do this. You really have to know how to prep, how to go through your prep when you're cutting. Ladies, if you don't have any muscle to begin with, the worst thing you can do is go into a cut. I hate when people say, oh, you gotta cut. No, you don't have to cut. What you have to do is cut out all the damn fats that you're eating. Shut your mouth. You have to regroup and revamp your diet, get the fats out, and add carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are what fuel your body for energy. It is the fountain of the brain. The brain relies on carbohydrates to function, to stay alert, to make decisions. It also helps keep the muscle anabolic, keeps the muscle full and dense so that you don't go catabolic. And it's also what's going to fuel your body so that your body, the taxi cab, can disperse the rest of the nutrients into the body and help it flow through the digestive tract, especially sweet potatoes and oatmeal. So just think about what you're doing. Ladies, if you are in the bikini category, just realize that it's really not in your best interest, and you really should think about maybe getting another coach if they have you at a very low caloric range per day. If they have you on calorie deficits over and over again throughout the year. That's not the way to gain muscle. That is a pure way to lose muscle. And then you're gonna go to a show and you're gonna end up looking flat. And you may be skinny, and the number on the scale may excite you, and the number on the scale may turn you on, and the number on the scale may give you an orgasm because you lost 20 pounds. But at the end of the day, where's your muscle? Did you lose your muscle too? If you've lost your muscle, you're doing it wrong, because when you finish the competition, you're starting all over again. So this is something to keep in mind, because if you're not building, you're losing. And if you're losing, then now you've gone backwards. So you have to regain what you lost to get back to where you were, and then start over from that point and then move forward. So it was like, it happened to me where you're not just moving from this point on forward, I regress. So you have to pick up from here. So it's almost like taking 2 more steps back. You got to catch up those 2 steps and then start and then keep going. So think about what you're doing. If you see this happening to you, you may want to think about getting a new coach. You may want to think about adding more food and adding more carbohydrates. If you can't get rid of the fat and you're working out and you know that you're gaining muscle, but you can't see because you have a lot of fat sitting over your muscle, you know that you're eating way too much fat. And I don't care what anybody says about we need healthy fats. If you're fat and you're high in body fat, you don't need fat. If you're high in body fat, that means you're not healthy. There's no such thing as healthy fats when you're fat. There's no such thing as healthy fats when you are high body fat percentage. It doesn't exist. Those two things shouldn't even be said in the same sentence. You need fat when you are low body fat. If you're high body fat, you don't need fat. Get that through your head, people. Don't be brainwashed and don't be sucked in and don't get sold. Alright guys, if you liked the video, go ahead and like, share, subscribe, leave your comment. Ladies, let me know if this has happened to you. Let me know how many coaches have done this to you. And let me go if you're going through this right now and if your muscle really did disappear. So like, comment, leave your super thanks, leave your comments. We're approaching the end of the month and I'll put up the Q&A in the community as well. So you can leave your questions and we'll get them answered for you at the Q&A at the end of the month. Next week is Thanksgiving. It's gonna be Turkey Day. Where are you celebrating Thanksgiving? Write down if you're staying with family or if you're going away on a trip. Everybody have a great week. Watch one of these 2 videos and if you found value to my video and you found this video valuable and you got some information out of it, and then share the video. I would greatly appreciate it. Everyone have a great day. And again, thanks to all you haters.